Hi, welcome to my video on part 1, slope of perpendicular lines. The slope of perpendicular lines. Let's do A, which is plotting this QAD is quadrilateral ABC with A 0, 0, B 0, 4, C 4, 4, E 4, 0. A is 0, 0, which is right there. B is 0, 4, 0, 4, right there. B. C is 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 up. And E is 4, 0. Start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 0. E. So we have, if I trace these, join up these points, let's leave A, go to B, C to E, and A to E. Quadrilateral A, B, C, D is a square. Join diagonals AC and diagonals BE. The diagonals are segments drawn from one vertex to another, not being a side. So these are two diagonals. Let's find the slope of AC. Well, A is 0, 0, and C is 4, 0. So the slope is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. And so this one is x1, y1, x2, y2. 4 minus 0, and x2 minus x1 is 4 minus 0, 4 over 4, which is 1. Let's find the slope of BE. B is 0, 4, and E is 4, 0. Okay, so x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that gives me 0 minus 4. x2 is 4. x1 is 0. That gives me negative 4 over 4, which is negative 1. And another way to do the slope, even though I use the slope formula, is to take AC and say go from A up to C, rise 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a plus 4, run 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's plus 4 over plus 4, which is 1. Or I can do BE as going from B down to E, or I can go from E up to B, makes no difference. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4 up, and 1, 2, 3, 4 left, so that's a plus 4, minus 4, again it gives you negative 1 another way. Okay, let's plot the quadrilateral PQRS with P negative 2, 0, Q 1, 4, R 6, 4, and S 3, 0. Let's see, P is negative 2, 0, negative 2, 0, there's P. Q is 1, 4. Q is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Q. R is 6, 4. R is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 up. That's R. And S is 3, 0. 3, 0 is right there. And we join all those points up. PQ, QR, RS, and PQRS is a rhombus. All these sides are the same length. Let's join the diagonals PR. Join the diagonal QS. Again, diagonals are segments that's drawn from one vertex to another, not being a side. They're non-consecutive vertices. So these are two diagonals, PR, QS. And the slope of PR, well, we can work the slope of PR if we want. Let's do it this way. Go from P up to R. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a rise over run. So it's a plus 4. And the run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus 8. So that gives me a half. And let's get the slope of QS. QS, let's go from Q down to S or S up to Q, okay? Either way, let's do the rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rise over the run slope is a plus 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the run is left 1, 2. So left is a minus. So that's negative 2. Okay, what am I getting at? Well, the diagonals of a square and a rhombus, if you did this section, I'm going to do a video on the quadrilaterals, but I haven't done it yet. But the diagonals of a quadrilateral are perpendicular to each other. The slope of AC is 1. The slope of BE is negative 1. The slope of PR is a half. And the slope of QS is negative 2. So if these lines are perpendicular, notice the slopes are plus minus. They're the opposite of each other. Or some people say they're negative, so either or, you can say the opposite or the negative. And they're the reciprocals. C. So they're the negative reciprocals of each other. So they're the negative plus minus of each other. Reciprocal of 1 is 1. Reciprocal of a half is 2. So they're negative or opposite reciprocals. Okay, if that be the case, I did these two illustrations to show you about the diagonals of different geometric figures. And in a square and a rhombus, the diagonals are perpendicular. Okay, let's do some examples. If you have a slope of 3, then the slope of the perpendicular lines are opposite and 1/3. Reciprocal of 3, 3 over 1 is 1 over 3. Reciprocal of negative 4 is a positive 1 over 4, because 4 is over 1, so 1 over 4. The opposite of a negative is a positive, and it's 2 over 5. The opposite of a positive is a negative, and it's 7 over 6. Notice the reciprocal, you turn them upside down. You invert the fraction. And you got to be careful because the slope of a line is 0. Now that slope is 0. That's a horizontal line. And if it's perpendicular, then you must have a vertical line. Horizontal line, vertical line are perpendicular. So the slope of a vertical line is undefined. Or some people could say no slope. 0 slope, no slope, not the same. No slope means undefined. And the slope of a line is 1, then its reciprocal of 1 is 1, and it's negative, opposite. Okay. Practice. Practice means that you pause the video and work these out to see if you're going to get them right. The slope of a line, negative 2, perpendicular, is positive 1/2. Remember, 2 is over 1. 3/4, positive, is minus, and is 4 over 3. If a slope is undefined, that means it's vertical. And perpendicular to it is horizontal. So the slope of a horizontal line is 0. We did that in previous videos. And the slope is negative 1, so it's a positive 1 because reciprocal of 1 is 1. Positive 8 over 5, negative 5 over 8. And 7 over 1 is going to be a positive 1 over 7. So let's do a little bit further explanation on a horizontal and vertical line. A horizontal line and a vertical line are perpendicular to each other. vertical line, horizontal line are perpendicular to each other. A horizontal line, if you want to draw it, it's like that, has a slope of 0. Perpendicular line to it is like this. Perpendicular, form a right angle, is undefined. Or we could say no slope. They are perpendicular to each other, but we cannot say or write that their slopes are negative or opposite reciprocals, because 0 has no reciprocal. So if we have a horizontal line, you say 0. If a line is perpendicular to it, it's vertical and it's got to be undefined. So 0 and undefined. Don't say reciprocals. If a line has a 0 slope, it is horizontal. Hence, perpendicular to a horizontal line is vertical, whose slope is undefined or no slope. Make sure. Can't say reciprocal of 0. 0 has no reciprocal. Find the slope of perpendicular lines to each. So the slope of this line right here is 6. So the perpendicular slope, the slope of the perpendicular line, is negative 1 over 6. Remember, that's a 6 over 1. The slope of this line is negative 1 over 7. So the perpendicular slope of the perpendicular line is a positive 7. Reciprocal. Slope of this line is negative 4. So the perpendicular slope is a positive 1/4. Again, the 4 is over 1, just to remind you. The slope of this line is 4 over 9. So the perpendicular slope is negative 9 over 4. This is the point slope form. The point is what? 2, negative 1. But that's the slope, 4/9. We have a slope here. That's the slope x-intercept form. The slope is negative 10 over 3. So the slope of the perpendicular line is a positive 3 over 10. I don't have to put the positive in. I'm just doing it to remind you you're changing the sign. Now we have to solve this one for y. Y equals, or negative 8y equals negative 10x plus 8. Divide by negative 8. In other words, what I'm doing is solving for y. So solving for y gets y equals mx plus b. So negative over negative is positive. 2 into 10 goes 5 over 4x minus 1. So the slope of this line is 5 over 4. Y equals mx plus b, slope. And the perpendicular slope of the perpendicular line, is a negative 4 over 5. And x equals 2. X equals 2. Let's see. X equals 2. X is always 2. X is always 2 on a vertical line. So that's the line. X equals 2. X is 2 here and here. Y is changing. That means it's a vertical line. So the slope of this line is undefined. So perpendicular to it, so the perpendicular slope is 0, because perpendicular to a vertical line is a horizontal line. Y equals negative 3. Let's see what that is. 1, 2, 3. Y is negative 3 right there. It's negative 3 on every point going along like that. That means this slope is 0 because it's a horizontal line. So the perpendicular slope is undefined, because perpendicular to this line is a vertical line. Just to drive it home. Now through these 2 points, so the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That gives me, this is x1 y1, x2 y2, so that gives me 7, subtract negative 1, negative 2, subtract 1, that gives me double negative positive 8 over negative 3, so that's a negative 8 over 3. So the slope of that line, negative 8 over, slope of the perpendicular line is positive 3 over 8, or just 3 over 8. J, we have x-intercepts of 3 and a y-intercept of negative 2. Well, let's make this a 3, 0. And the y-intercept is x is 0, y is negative 2. The slope of that line is y2 minus y1. So we could go x1, y1, just to write it down. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so we have negative 2 minus 0, and 0 minus 3. Negative 2 over negative 3, so the slope is 2/3. So the perpendicular slope is 3 over 2. And k through this point with an x-intercept, so the x-intercept is 5, so that's the point 5, 0. And the slope of this line is y2 is 0 minus negative 1, and 5 minus negative 3. So that's a double negatives, so that's a 1 and that's an 8. So the perpendicular slope is negative 8. Notice I didn't write down the formula, so now I'm getting used to it. I go x1, y1, x2, y2, so I go that minus that, and that one minus that one. You get used to them after a while, but just be careful. And practice means pause the video and work out the correct answers. Find the slope of the line perpendicular to each. Here we go. The slope of this line is negative 3, so the perpendicular slope is positive 1 over 3. Remember, 3 is 3 over 1. Slope is 3/5, so the perpendicular slope is, that's a positive, so we got to make negative and invert it, turn it up reciprocal. Slope of this line is 8, so the perpendicular slope, 8 is 8 over 1, so it's a negative 1 over 8. That's a horizontal line at 7, so the slope of a horizontal line is 0, so perpendicular to that, so the perpendicular slope is a vertical line, so it's undefined. And the slope of this line is negative 1/6, and the perpendicular slope is positive 6. Slope of this line is 9 over 4, so the perpendicular slope of the perpendicular line is a negative 4 over 9. Solve this equation for y, we've got to find the slope, so negative 10y equals negative 15x plus 20. Divide by negative 10. Divide all terms by negative 10, so y equals negative over negative positive. 5 into 15 is 3, 5 into 10 is 2. And we have negative 10, so that's a negative 2. So the slope of that line is 3 over 2, because this is y equals mx plus b. There's the slope. And the perpendicular slope, the slope of the perpendicular line is a negative 2 over 3. And x equals negative 2. That's x equals negative 2 is a vertical line. So the slope of a vertical line is undefined. And that means the perpendicular line is horizontal, so the slope is 0. Again, just x equals negative 2 is right there. So all points up and down this line, all coordinates of this, all x coordinates are negative 2. The y's are changing, but x is negative 2, so it's a vertical line. And we have this point, so we have the point, let me write it here. X coordinate is negative 6 to y is 0, and y-intercept, x is 0, negative 4. So the slope, y2 minus y1, so it's a negative 4 minus 0. x2 minus x1 is 0 minus negative 6. Double negative, so top is negative 4. The bottom is 6. That's a negative 2 over 3. So the perpendicular slope is a positive 3 over 2. And the slope of the line perpendicular through the line to these 2 points, so the slope is y2, which is negative 1, minus 2 over 3 minus 0, so y2 minus y1. That gives me negative 3 over 0. Negative 3 over 0 is undefined. So the perpendicular slope is a horizontal line, which is 0. And just have a quick look at 3, 2. X is 3, y is 2 is right there. X is 3, y is negative 1, x is 3, negative 1 is right there. So you can see the line through those 2 points is vertical. So the slope of this line is undefined. So the slope of perpendicular to it is this line, or this one, don't make any difference, 0. And we got to do the slope of this one, so y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. Double negative positive, so that's negative 5 over 1, which is negative 5. So the perpendicular slope, the slope of the perpendicular line is a positive 1 over 5. So that's the slope of perpendicular lines worked out for you, with the emphasis on the horizontal line and vertical line, 0 and undefined, not reciprocals. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you understand about the slopes of perpendicular lines. If you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button. Click the notification bell. More videos coming your way. Write a comment on my video if you wish. And visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com. And there you got sections on me, my degrees and teaching experience. Section on video talks about the strategies you're going to use to help you learn your math. The content section has the topics and the number of videos on those topics on my YouTube channel. Black font is what's there right now, and the red font is what will be there in the near future. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.